Hey co-stars, welcome to another episode of Generation Films. My name is British Ben, and in Star Trek, they just love destroying the main ship in the show. Only problem is, if you destroy the main ship in the series, then you don't have a series. So you have to do it in alternate universes, alternate timelines, other dimensions, etc. Which is cool, because when you got that excuse, you can make a lot of interesting stuff happen. Like this.
Then I never could say no to you.
Oh, so that's why you married me?
Oh, so you're not,
A hologram? No.
That last one's really messed up. But anyway, the Enterprise has been destroyed multiple times, and I look to the captain for an explanation. I mean, maybe Picard just isn't that smart of a guy.
Captain?
Do you know what you're doing?
No.
But it's not just Picard. It started with Kirk and it goes all the way through. So here are all 15 times the Enterprise has been destroyed on screen in Star Trek. First up, we have the Enterprise 1701, destroyed by Captain Kirk on screen in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. You know, that movie where they first steal the Enterprise and their joyride ends up like this. And you know, it was gonna be decommissioned anyway, so it doesn't really matter, you might as well have some fun, right? So what happens is that the Klingons attack the Enterprise, which is only crewed by like 3 people because it was stolen. And although the Enterprise initially does do well, the Enterprise is soon disabled. Then the Klingons down on the planet kill Kirk's son, and faced with his son's death, it seems that Kirk did get some useful information on dealing with Klingons from his encounter with Khan.
Do you know the Klingon proverb that tells us revenge is a dish that is best served cold?
So Kirk serves up his revenge. He allows the Klingons to board the Enterprise, having set the self-destruct sequence, and they don't realize it until they reach the bridge. So that's one destruction. We set our counter at 1. We have loads more to go. Next, we have the Enterprise D in the episode Cause and Effect. This is a Groundhog Day kind of episode.
I'm reliving the same day over and over.
The Enterprise is stuck in some sort of quantum...
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
No, not quantum this time. Quantum comes a bit later. It's, temporal. Yes, temporal. The Enterprise is stuck in a temporal causality loop in which it encounters another ship, makes the wrong decision each time using the tractor beam to alter the ship's trajectory, which causes it to hit the warp nacelle and destroy the ship. Finally, Commander Data is able to send himself a message from one reality to another, and he chooses Commander Riker's suggestion to decompress the main shuttle bay to push the Enterprise out of the way, and it works. In the episode, it is implied that the temporal causality loop repeats 18 times, but we only see the Enterprise destroyed 4 times on screen. So I'm going to count that as 4 destructions, and that takes us to a running total of 5. Next, we have the Next Generation episode Time Squared, and in this episode, the Enterprise encounters another temporal anomaly. This one looks like some dry ice cascading into a cup in slow motion. Maybe the Enterprise accidentally flew onto the set of a cocktail commercial. Anyway, in this episode, they discover a version of Picard from the future floating adrift in a shuttle. They are able to recover video from the shuttle logs, and that's where we see the future Enterprise get destroyed inside the temporal anomaly. However, since Picard then makes the correct choices in dealing with the situation, the Enterprise is preserved, and that becomes the reality. All traces of the alternate reality disappear. So this adds 1 more destruction to the list, and we are now at a running total of 6. Next, we have an interesting episode called Timescape. Yep, we've had Time Squared, now we have Timescape.
It would seem that time is something that we have plenty of.
But you could think of some other word than just put time in the title.
This is no time to argue about time.
But what about the word quantum? Isn't that a good word?
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
a quantum implosion.
Quantum slipstream.
Quantum torpedoes.
Relax, there's one that involves quantum something coming up a bit later. Right now we're still dealing with temporal things, i.e. time. So in this episode, Picard and a few other crew members are in a runabout when they realize that time is slowing down and speeding up. They're able to navigate through these disturbances and find the Enterprise caught in such a disturbance. frozen mid-battle with a Romulan warbird. Now, I don't want to spoil every single one of these episodes for you, so I'll keep it vague, but at one point in the episode, we see the Enterprise destroyed as time speeds up, and then undestroyed as time is played in reverse. And that's convenient, otherwise they would have had to have renamed another Galaxy-class ship and had that become the main ship in the show, which, to be honest, you could do. They did it with the Defiant when that was destroyed. But anyway, that is one destruction. Does the fact that it was undestroyed cancel it out though? I don't know. Let's just go with no. So that brings our total to 7. Now, finally, we have the destruction of the Enterprise caused by something with the word quantum in it.
I am detecting a quantum flux in your cellular RNA.
What does that mean?
I do not know.
They don't know what it means. It's just a cool word.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
Yes, they are. And there's a lot of quantum in this episode.
It appears to be a quantum fissure.
Quantum realities.
Quantum physics.
Anyway, Worf kind of crosses into another dimension because his quantum flux is off, and it culminates in thousands of Enterprises from different parallel universes converging at the same point in one universe. They figure out he needs to leave in a shuttle and create an inverse warp field to send everyone back to their correct universe. But one ship that comes from a universe where the Borg are in control doesn't want to leave and opens fire. The Enterprise is forced to launch a torpedo at that Enterprise, and due to it having already sustained damage in fighting the Borg, it is destroyed. And that brings our total to 8. Next, we have the destruction of the Enterprise in the finale of the Next Generation series, All Good Things. In this episode, we see 3 Enterprises from different time periods converge in some quantum, in this one it's described as temporal anomaly. And they have to create a static warp shell to seal the anomaly, and this results in the destruction of all 3 ships, one after the other, and the timeline being reset to the way it should be. And Picard passing Q's ridiculous test, and Q moving on to testing the crew of the Prometheus in the Stargate franchise instead. And so that is 3 more destructions, which takes our total to 11. And now we have the real, final destruction of the Enterprise that doesn't take place in some alternate temperate quantum reality, but actually in this reality. You see, when the Next Generation cast started making movies, Paramount Pictures wanted a more streamlined cinematic ship. So a big objective of the movie Generations was to destroy the Enterprise, to make way for a new, more cinematic, sleek, cool-looking ship designed by the legendary John Eaves in Star Trek First Contact. So the Klingons figure out how to hack into a car air filter and steal the shield frequencies and open fire on the Enterprise. So instead of just modulating shield frequencies, which is what they do any other time when the Borg adapt to their weapons and can penetrate their shields, no, they don't do that. They come up with some long-winded plan where they emit some kind of pulse and they force the Klingon ship to cloak, which means it lowers its shields. But that takes a little time and the warp core has a coolant leak. But instead of just ejecting the core, because all Star Trek fans know that the warp core ejection system is the one thing that's knocked offline every time you need to use it.
We've got to eject the core! Ejection system's offline!
Instead, they decide to separate the ship and crash land it on a planet. And this is when you realize just how ridiculous it is having a ship that fights in battles with bloodthirsty enemies and risks death, having families with kids and their teddy bears on board. Anyway, the Enterprise saucer crashes, but the ship is beyond repair. So that's one more destruction to add to our list. We're now totaling 12. We're now going to look at the series Enterprise, and I know that's kind of going back in time within Star Trek, but we're going with the order in which the shows were shot, okay? So that's how we're going to do it. In the episode In a Mirror Darkly, we see the beautiful First Contact scene where Zefram Cochrane, having completed his first warp flight, greets the Vulcans. But maybe he just finished watching Independence Day or something.
Welcome to Earth.
Since his welcome is a little bit different to what he did in First Contact.
Board that ship! Take everything you can!
And that's because this happens in a mirror universe where the Terran Empire would rule instead of the Federation. And this is a really cool episode. They even give you a kind of communist, totalitarian-inspired intro sequence. And the female uniforms have changed as well. To be honest though, T'Pol doesn't need any mirror universe crop top. Put her even in a full body covering spacesuit and she's still stunning. Okay, I got distracted, but anyway, in the episode, the Mirror Universe Enterprise is attacked by Tholians, and it's ensnared in this energy web weapon and destroyed. You see escape pods launching before the web closes in and the ship is completely destroyed. So that is our number 13. Our next one is also from Enterprise. In the episode Twilight, Captain Archer is infected with some sort of subspace parasites, and it makes him unable to form any new memories. He kind of becomes disabled, and he wakes up in the future to find that the Xindi have won the Xindi-human war. In this episode, the Enterprise is destroyed with the bridge first blown open and people literally flying out into space, and then the ship is completely destroyed. But the ship is actually destroyed by a subspace implosion triggered by Archer himself. You see, Dr. Phlox discovers a treatment for these parasites where wiping them out in the present actually wipes them out in the past as well, because they're like temporal quantum thingy, something, quantum flux. Anyway, and as Archer recovers, it starts to change the course of history. So Archer triggering the quantum implosion aboard the Enterprise actually wipes out the remaining parasites, resets the timeline, and Archer awakens in sickbay to be greeted by the wonderful T'Pol. So that is our number 14th time the Enterprise is destroyed. Let's move on to the final time the Enterprise is destroyed, and that is in the movie Star Trek Beyond. Now, this was the movie where you have an accompanying music video where you get to see some extra beauty shots of the Enterprise, and you get to see just what hazards the ship has to deal with in space. Is that Nagilum? No, it's Rihanna. Anyway, in the beginning of the movie, the Enterprise is attacked by a swarm of alien ships. The strategy is to attack the ship at weak points but not destroy it. Thus they cut through the warp nacelle pylons so it can't escape at warp. Then they later cut through the neck, which has always appeared to be a weak point on the Enterprise. Interestingly, after the neck has been cut in half already, we see the alien commander Kral lured into the neck, and then what's left of the neck is separated from the saucer. That's right, the original Enterprise could separate. It's not just the Enterprise D that could do that. After the intruders kidnap the crew, the saucer is left to hurl towards the planet and epically crashes onto the surface. And that is our 15th and final time that the Enterprise has been destroyed in Star Trek. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and if you want to do what we do, talk about fictional starships or any other topic for that matter on YouTube, we've just released a course on how we built 9 YouTube channels with over 2 million subscribers. So if you're an aspiring YouTuber, as a free preview, just click below and check out our Go Viral Masterclass. Subscribe to our channel, guys, if you're new. Please leave your comments below. Tell me if I missed some obscure destruction of the Enterprise. I'd really love to know if I did, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.